Hola amigos, Dr. Lebrun aquí. Today's video is going to help you be successful on the writing portion of the Spanish Praxis exam. So to do that, we need to know a little bit more information about it. So the writing portion is going to make up 18% of our total exam score. It's going to take us about 55 minutes to complete, including a 5-minute writing practice. The reason that they have a writing practice is because you're going to be doing the writing portion on your computer, and they are going to give you a toolbar that has accent marks and tildes and upside down exclamation points and question marks so that you can practice to use accents and punctuation correctly. So there's going to be a few components that we're going to take a look at: the interpersonal writing portion, the presentational writing portion, and then the integrated skills portion, where they're going to give us a writing prompt, and then later on we're going to speak about that same topic from a little bit different perspective. Okay, so what is the interpersonal writing going to be like? It's going to be an email or a letter or a memo that you're going to respond to. So it's going to be a little bit more of a formal writing, and we need to have at least 60 words minimum, and they suggest that we spend about 15 minutes on this portion. And so a couple of things to keep in mind here: if we want to start out a formal letter, we can start off with estimada or estimado or estimada, which translates as dear or esteemed, and that's a good way to begin a formal letter. Now, if we're writing to a friend or relative, you might want to use querido or querida. That's another way to say dear. But if it's a formal letter, you're probably going to use estimado or estimada, and that's got to match up with the person's gender that we're talking to. And then when we close the letter, we can respond with atentamente, which is sincerely. So, and then interpersonal writing, someone's going to write us some type of letter, and then we're going to respond back to them in a little bit more formal version. Okay, up next then is the presentational writing. It's going to be an opinion or a position essay. This one, we need to have at least 120 words in Spanish, and this one is also going to take us about 15 minutes to complete. And so they're going to give us a theme, and it might be something like explain why it's important that we protect the environment. So we need to explain and defend our opinion, and then we need to think of some reasons and examples to support our opinion. So that's the presentational writing section. And then the last writing prompt is the integrated skills section. So there's going to be an article that you're going to read, and for the writing portion, we're going to give our opinion. And then later on in the speaking section, we're also going to give our opinion, but communicating in a written form and also in a spoken form. But this is the written portion of that. So read a passage. It's going to appear in both the writing and speaking section. And then we need to provide a written response. Again, 120 word minimum. And this one, they suggest that we spend about 20 minutes on it. And they're going to give us a theme, and we're going to explain the pros and cons of that theme. And again, we want to give some examples that we can think of. Another thing to keep in mind here is we may need to use the formal form of address, such as usted or ustedes, which is the formal you. And then some things to keep in mind, since we don't typically use this one as often, more often we use the to form. So anytime I want to say a ti, to you, I want to use a usted or a ustedes, the you singular formal and the you plural formal. And then tu or tus for your is going to become su or sus. And now this one, it doesn't matter if I'm using the usted or ustedes. I can use either one, but if I use su, it's what the person is showing ownership over, is that singular. And then sus is it plural, what I'm showing ownership over. And then te changes to lay or lace. Okay, so that's your helpful hint there, is to be familiar with usted and ustedes forms of address. All right, so that was lesson number 3, the writing section. Up next, stay tuned for the speaking section, essential vocabulary and exam tips lessons. All right, gracias por mirar Learning Spanish with Dr. L. Go ahead and click that subscribe button. It's going to give you free access to all of my videos. Adiós, hasta pronto y buena suerte en el examen de praxis.